Welcome to TMI with Terrell and Martha. We're so glad to be back with you, and we want you to be sure to like and subscribe if you're watching us on YouTube, because we want to share this message with a lot of folks. But I'm so excited today to be talking to Phil Bonelli. And Terrell, why don't you introduce Phil, and then let's ask him what he does.
Okay, I'm so excited. So basically, Phil has been on our radar for probably as long as we started doing this so far. So we had an opportunity to have you on, and things just didn't work out with the electricals in this space. I believe it was a while back.
It's an old house.
Yes, it's an old house.
This old house.
And Phil, as you know, is super busy. He's got a million different hats, but one of the things that I am so intrigued about, and I want to share, and I want to have him share as well, is the sustainable farm. He's gotten involved in that, and let's talk a little bit about the processing, the chicken, all of it.
But
yeah,
but tell us about you first, because you've had an interesting journey.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, my name is Phil. I am the owner of Hopewell Farms GA, which we're on Hopewell Church Road, so we named it Hopewell Farms, and we had to add GA
because there's another Hopewell Farms.
We're not that creative with names at the farm, but I was a commercial banker, so a banker for businesses. I have a finance degree. And I went to UGA, which is a big ag school, but I didn't study ag there, had no farming background. And in 2019, I kind of stumbled onto this 43-acre farm.
Yep.
I just wanted a couple acres to run around with. We had 4 kids at the time. We now have 5. You got to be careful because I eat a lot of grass-fed beef. It makes you
good
potent.
for him.
I mean, you got to watch out. They just pop out. But we ended up on this 43-acre farm that was a cattle farm, and we were still not intending to be farmers. I was just like a banker, and I was going to go deer hunting there and play with my kids.
Yeah,
but
get boy toys.
Yeah,
yes, that kind of thing.
But my parents got me a book by a guy named Joel Salatin, and it's "Folks, This Ain't Normal," and it was like about our industrial food system,
right? And
that kind of shaped my paradigm, and I was like, I want to start doing some grass-fed beef. So I did in the spring of 2020. I think it was right when people started to
we've talked about that.
have thoughts about COVID.
Yes.
Which is so interesting. We talk about COVID as a time period, because COVID is still a thing.
It is.
Just like then.
Yeah.
We just don't talk about it in the same way on the media.
And we're not worried about it. Yeah.
Okay.
It's no longer a thing.
Everyone else seems to feel about it the way I felt about it then.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we got these cows and started figuring that out. And then now, I mean, it just turned into through, learning and YouTube videos and listening to podcasts and reading books. Yeah.
YouTube teaches you many, many things.
It does. But you got to watch out for the Russian toy videos.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
Big thing that if you get nothing else from this, I mean, again, subscribe to this.
That's right.
On YouTube
Yes,
if you really want to learn.
Yes,
that's right.
That's
True.
Lesson of the day. But I went to this workshop at this big farm, White Oak Pastures, and there, the farmer Will Harris, he's like big time. He's been on the second best podcast of this nature, Joe Rogan, behind this one.
Yes.
It's not as good as
behind this one. Yeah,
podcast,
Joe,
I don't know.
Watch out. We're coming for you.
We want to be Joe.
We do. We will.
You've got way better hair, both of you.
Thank you.
But I went to this workshop, and it was about regenerating land through livestock. So regenerative agriculture, it is a popular term now, which I'm very thankful for. But it's basically farming in alignment with nature. And so just like we have a gut microbiome, there's a lot going on in here. The soil is a very complex biome, and its health is crucial to the health of food, the plant, all these sorts of things. So anyway, that's the kind of agriculture we do. And this workshop was talking about how, more animals, nature's diverse.
Right.
So man, I got chickens and pigs and turkeys to go along with the cows. And so now we sell, a lot of meat. We deliver beef, pork, chicken, turkey, eggs, grass-fed tallow beauty products.
Oh my gosh, I did not know that. We're practically neighbors.
Yeah.
So also your shining glory, and I shouldn't promote this because I'm a pig owner for they are my pets. But you do have this amazing, from what I hear, the bacon.
Yes, which is secret.
It's like
we
its
can
own-
share it, but
Its own food group bacon. It's not necessarily. It's not. A lot of people I know that don't eat meat eat bacon.
You bring up an important thing when it comes to the kind of agriculture I do. So we're a small farm, and we sell, to people. So we raise and sell these products, and there's so many barriers to providing real food.
Wow.
So we have to
Isn't that
adhere to regulations that are aimed at huge industrial food plants.
Yeah.
And so there's nowhere around we can get bacon cured, and I'm not really supposed to cure it at home and sell it. So I cure it at home and I give it away to our subscription customers as a gift.
He's not selling it. It is free.
Yeah. In the same way that, I used to do raw milk.
Right.
I now barter for raw milk because a lady comes and drops 2 gallons off for me and takes a whole chicken with her.
Wow.
And
that's great.
That has to be sold as for pet food. So anyway, there's some workarounds you have to do. But I'm committed to doing them because people like bacon. I love bacon. And I don't want people to have to eat what is truly a bacon product that is inferior for your health.
Oh, yeah. It really is.
How did you get in? Was this something that you got into the farming first, or you were kind of thinking about better food for a lot of different reasons first, or what did it kind of come together?
I kind of both of them together because I never, and I would not recommend, I never thought, I will start off small and see what happens. I got like 17 cows to start versus just 1. And now I have 50 some odd. We'll probably harvest like 80 or 100 this year because I have other partners raising cows under our protocol too.
Oh, fun.
But I did immediately think, like, I will do this as a business. And I didn't know how. And I think that's important that, like, you don't have to know all the answers.
Well, that's a beautiful thing about where we live in this world is that you can do things like that.
Well, what's the old adage? You find something you love.
Right.
And then you figure out how to do it.
Right.
And I think that also there's, you being in banking, there's this like, the reason why you teach your kids how to manage their finances from a young age is because you want them to have the ability that when they find something they really want to do, that they have the resources to do it. Not to say you didn't need to find other resources, but I don't know you that well, but I figure you probably had your finances in order so that if you made some kind of change like this, you could do it gradually and you were prepared for it.
Well, and I'm very thankful I had a, lucrative career as a banker, but it is a huge challenge to our overall mission, which is beyond our farm, that if you're a young person and you want to do regenerative agriculture and you go work on a farm, like we have our first crop of interns will be coming in May.
Oh, that is exciting.
Are you pulling from UGA?
No.
UNG?
I mean, I got somebody coming from North Carolina, somebody coming from Nebraska.
That's amazing. That's great.
Which wasn't intentional. It just, we threw it out there.
Organically.
Yes. Yeah. That was good.
So we're ideally, Lord willing, we're going to train these folks up on how to do regenerative ag.
This is great.
But they will never, going and working on a farm, be able to afford to buy a farm.
Right.
Like this is a challenge because land's very expensive.
Right.
So we have things that kind of our overall grand vision is in 5 years, we want to have 5 or more, what I call Chick-fil-A farms, right? So if you know somebody who has a Chick-fil-A, he doesn't own the Chick-fil-A.
Right. It's a franchise.
Well, it's a franchise, but it's
kind of an owner-operator kind of thing.
Owner-operator.
Yep.
So if I were to buy a McDonald's franchise, which I wouldn't, I'd have to have millions of dollars. Right. Chick-fil-A, you just have to be a high caliber person who's well vetted, and you get to split the profits. You get the benefits of ownership without the capital outlay.
That's wonderful.
So that's what we want to do. We want to set these people up. Here's your 40,
farm.
50, 100 acre farm.
Right.
You're running it under Hopewell Farms. So you go run our playbook. We have the processing plant. We do the marketing. We're doing all that. And we split profits with you. Because I want people to earn a real living wage.
Right. Yeah.
And so we want to remove the capital need. We also want to remove the need for capital for equipment. So I have a big tractor. We can drive it from farm to farm. So we share those costs.
That's fabulous.
And people always ask me, well, how do you go on vacation? Which I like being on my farm, but sometimes I do want to go somewhere else or go speak somewhere.
Yeah, I'm
right?
going to listen to this part. I'm listening to this part.
That part is key. And so because we'll have everyone running the same playbook, we have systems.
No matter where you are.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's all take 3 weeks vacation. We got to schedule out. But when Sarah takes a week vacation from her farm, Tim, Bill, me, we're all going to go over there and cover her chores. You know, so we got that support. And I enjoy marketing. I enjoy this.
Well,
I like speaking about it.
Right.
But not everybody does.
Right.
So
you
now they don't
you
have
can
to.
be the mouthpiece for the process.
So it's so funny because I was at home. My favorite black and white movie is called The Best Years of Our Lives. And it's about World War II veterans coming home. And it follows 3 guys into their getting back into life. And one of them is a banker and has been given the task of overseeing all the veterans loans that were coming out right after World War II. And one of the stories in that is a man that was a farmer. He was a sharecropper before the war. Okay. Then he was in the war, came back, and he wanted to buy this little farm, this little 40-acre farm. And the banks didn't look at him as a good risk. But because this guy looked at him as a guy that, he says, yeah, I started little fruit patches and vegetable patches when we were traveling around Italy. I did all these kind of things. No. I want to do more. And he bent the bank's rules and gave this guy $6,000. Okay, this is 1945. 1945. So, but I thought what it was so great is that this guy had this passion for farming. And even though this wasn't the main part of the story, it was the one that really stuck out to me because it was such a great story. And also, I've been thinking about the food thing for so long. You know, I was a mom that made a lot of things from scratch. I wasn't always buying processed food, but we had some in our house. And my daughter, as well as a lot of her friends, have a lot of gut problems, you know, and they grew up in the 90s and they're stuck. And I started thinking, what's wrong with the food? You know, what's wrong with the food? And it was a lot of probably these rules that were put in place for these gigantic companies, you know, that don't work well. And then I read this book called Diet for a Small Planet, which was the first book. It was put out in 1972. They've put it out every 10 years since then. And it was about this kind of sustainable farming. That you can grow cows and beef and things like that, but you can also grow vegetables and you can grow all these other things and how well they work together. So this movement's been going on a long time, but I think it mainstreamed just a few years ago where more people are thinking about it. It's not some crunchy granola idea anymore.
Right. I mean, look at what's happening. Yes. Yeah. I mean, we've got a banker who is now doing a regenerative farming.
And I love the Chick-fil-A farms.
Which is, yeah. Well, you know, it's funny because listening to how you're speaking, I run the spa. I work with a lot of independent contractors, right? So the premise behind it is we've got the money. We've put the time into it. We just are asking people to put put your tires on the tracks and follow these tracks because we've already developed the systems. We've developed what works. We've tested it. It's tried. It's true. Like we know what makes a 20-year spa work and what will earn each of these individual contractors the money in the industry they need to earn a good living, right? But you need to follow these systems. Because this is what creates a brand. This is what creates an ability for you to go away and have somebody else take care of these people. So it's the same like principles, I think, of, you know, the Chick-fil-A principles or the Hopewell Farms principles. They apply to any area of life, any business, because it's about a clean brand that could work with interchangeable.
Yes, it has a replicable model. And I love hearing you say that because really the things that get me the most jazzed up, when I started, I loved the production. Like, I mean, I was very busy. I was still working at the bank.
Yeah.
Right.
And I mean, I went out there, was moving the cows before meetings. And then I would go and shower up real quick and get dressed up like a banker, and then I'd go close a loan and then deliver a steak and some eggs and and I'm so glad I did that.
I live that life.
Yeah.
But I'm not eating the farm animals. I just have them and I'm responsible for them. So I have to do all that. I have to move them around. I have to make sure they're okay, shower up, go to the spa, appear at the spa to look like a spa owner when I go in, except for yesterday. I showed up and the two paths crossed yesterday. And I still had my peace socks on and my farm boots and my Beth Dutton ball cap. And everybody was like, what world are you? But yeah, it's kind of exciting. And it's an adventure.
Mm-hmm.
We just had this cold blast.
Mm-hmm.
And, this is not for the weak of heart, owning a sustainable farm or, any type of large animal, whether it's horses, livestock. It's physical labor. It's hard work. And there's no way out of it, really. But you do it.
Yeah. And there's power in that. There's so much power and have to.
Yeah.
And I was definitely made better when I was doing both so much because there was things I had to do. And I looked around at other people that I worked with sometimes.
Right.
I was like, well, they're not really even doing as much banker stuff as me. And they don't have a farm. And I realized I have to, I'm doing this. So I'm here. I have to do this.
You're focused. You are on point.
Yes.
Yes.
And I have loved, as it's grown and it has grown beyond me and I have a team, my favorite part now is I love developing this system so I can have more of an impact. And I love developing people who are a part of the system and add to the system. I mean, that's what really gets me jazzed up.
That's amazing.
Now, I'm not too hard to jazz up because I'm doing stuff I really
I know
like.
that.
But yeah, that is, I enjoy. And I do what allowed me to go full time is I did start a consulting firm as well. Because once the farm got going, I think once we sold $100,000 of meat in a year, I was like, well, this is real. I really want to just do this, but I do love working with businesses. So I was like, well, I'm gonna always do a little consulting on the side. And then I left in April of 24. I retired as a banker, and starting a consulting firm is what allowed me to do that and be all out on my own, so I could farm
to be
more.
able to develop what you're developing as well, because that takes developing and recreating a system that works and that is where you can approach someone and say, here's how you're going to get in on this, and here's the systems, and that's a lot of time, that's a lot of paperwork, that's a lot of training. There's and you kind of have to be at the level that you are. You have to almost love the systems as much as the people that you're dealing with.
But you are seeing North Hall High School has started this farm, and you're seeing a rebirth, I think, of kind of agriculture jobs, and not just thinking that that's just what whoever does. We're seeing a lot of people are getting more involved in this, and I'm glad to see the movement back towards smaller farms. You're not the big. I'm all for bigger is better. Okay, I'm not afraid of big businesses. I think that's great. I think that's what made America great.
Right.
That we have some of the biggest companies in the world. I think it's great. But I think it's also wonderful that people can follow their dreams. My husband and I have always been self-employed. Every month, every dollar we've saved for our retirement has never been matched by anybody. We've earned it or earned
I feel
interest.
the same way. I'm like, where's
so
nobody matching
I
me?
love it when people want to do their own business, but everybody's not cut out for it. Everybody can't be the manager. Everybody can't be Phil Bonelli.
Right.
That's why you've got to find all the different places for them to fit in.
Well, and I love growth. I find that's one of our values at the farm, and growth is a moral imperative to me because if I did not grow my farm, I would not create living wage opportunities and very fulfilling vocational opportunities for others.
So was there a moment where you went into your wife? I mean, she must have known this was coming, right? But you probably had a pretty stable job. You got a lot of kids. When you got a lot of kids, you worry about how you're going to support those kids. So how was your wife as a part of this whole process?
Well, I mean, besides being inspirational, is the most lovely woman on the face of the planet. She very supportive, and Lindsay does not do things on the farm. Like
Right.
she's not.
She takes care of kids.
She's homeschooling our 5 kids.
5 kids, yeah.
And they do something. I mean, she's there and she's like a sounding board and she's like, but
Feedback.
she's not working on the
Right.
farm or doing our marketing or anything, but she was so supportive. And I think she had the same outlook. Her trust in me was very meaningful. Obviously, as a husband, like your wife's confidence in you is an extreme driver of your performance. But I felt like, hey, the bank I worked for at the time, Regions Bank, great bank, I realized like Regions is not my provider.
Right.
God is my provider.
Right.
And I'm
There
so
you go.
thankful he has utilized Regions Bank
Right.
to provide
To be
for me.
that, which, yeah.
But he's going to provide for us a different way now. And it, certainly requires a lot of trust, which is good. So she's great. She is great. And she would like to do more things on the farm at some point. We currently have a 9-month-old.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well,
keeping her kind of
I'm
busy
telling you
there.
that will.
But she's the driver in our home of kind of all things health and organic. I mean, I have a thing on my phone that is sucking in EMF radiation. I don't even know.
I've got
Lindsay
one of
tells me
those
to
too.
do it.
Yeah.
I do it.
You probably have the Yucca app on your phone too at some point. Have you ever
She
heard of
may have
that?
put it on there.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
You can check everything if you are in the grocery store, it will it'll give you a rating on the Yucca app as to whether it's organic and trustworthy or if it's not. Even I got to where it was just very disappointing because even the organic snacks for kids were like way down.
Oh,
on the app.
I've seen that too.
So I just got to the point where I just went to the produce area because anything that was in a bag or a box was just
Now-
not helpful.
How
In
old is your
general.
oldest child?
She will be 14 in
So
a
does
couple
she
weeks.
work on the farm?
Well, here's a great thing about the farm. She does. But like, because we are a whole business, most farms, so say like a chicken farm here in Northeast Georgia or something, they're part of a commodity system. So
Right.
like they are raising something and they're selling
Sell
it into a commodity market, not to people. Since we sell direct to consumers, we have marketing needs. We can create additional products, whatever the heck we want.
Right.
So my oldest daughter, Caroline, she is not really into like, I'm going to go move these cows and everything.
Yeah,
Like, I'm like,
that's not her
"Hey,
her gig.
we just had some piglets, kids. Come down, see Caroline. She's not
Not
even getting
excited.
up. But she is really into like art and art classes and beauty products. So,
Creative.
yes, she's creative, and
Right.
she made Kiss a Pig chapstick, our lard-based chapstick. She
Oh,
created
she's
that.
doing the beef tallow, the enlarged.
She's not doing the tallow. I got another girl who does the tallow.
Oh, okay.
Yep, Julia, who's awesome.
All
She's
right.
also the director of our farmers markets. So
Wonderful.
Caroline is involved with certain things. And on poultry processing day, I'm so proud of Caroline. I gave her a raise.
Whoa.
And my other child, I
This
did
is
not give a raise
amazing.
because he did not deserve the raise Caroline deserved.
Oh, good.
And he recognized
You
that.
have to earn it.
Yeah. But she leads our packaging room. So like we'll harvest 900 birds on a Saturday, and all of them, they're getting cut up, and the boneless, skinless breasts go in a certain kind of package, and the thighs go in this one, and she packages all of them. So Caroline works in the processing room, and she's kind of come out with new products, and I really picture her leading summer camps.
Wow.
She's real good
Cool.
at that.
That's amazing. So she's just showing some leadership qualities and taking the initiative to do things and
There's
fun.
room for each individual to express their unique gift, strengths, and talents. She's never going to go and, put an ear tag in a cow. That's not her.
Yeah.
But there's things for her. So my other kids, they like that part. And I love that
Yes.
about it being a complete
just
business.
letting them choose and letting them find their own way within the system. that
Yeah.
you
So
have around
you
them. That's amazing.
summer camps. Tell me
Summer
about
camps.
that.
Okay, well, I think this would be the year we kick off summer camps. I get I want to do two things. One, just a general kids camp,
Right.
9 to 3. We're doing some fun farm activities. But then I get a tremendous amount of requests from moms about their sons. And the general ask goes something like, hey, and not so many words like, could my son come and work there and you toughen him up a little bit? Basically is what it comes down to.
What
And
in
I
the
would
world?
love to, I mean, the farm is very much like a ministry. We're a for-profit business and we're telling things, but like we have a lot of like groups over for free and things like
Right.
that. Anyway, I love developing young
mission
people.
work.
It is.
It is
You know what?
mission work.
I had one of those conversations about my youngest son, and he's 40 and a great dad and all that now, but he was wandering, let's just put it that way, and he needed a reason to tell his friends he couldn't go out. And so at that time, Mike Cottrell had a farm, an Angus cow farm up in Dahlonega, and they were friends of ours. And so my husband called Mike and said, look, Ricky needs a place to work where they're going to like make him really tired.
Yeah.
And
Sweat and dirt.
And he
Very
hated
much.
it he had a
It's
bad attitude the
rehabilitational.
first few weeks, but by the end of the summer, he signed up to do it again the next year. And the biggest thing he got out of it is he had to be there at 6:30 every morning.
Yeah.
And so it was very easy for him to say to his friends, you know, I can't go out tonight. I got to be at work in the morning. And it was really good for him. It was really good for him. Taught him about hard work.
I love that. And it teaches you how to work hard, but I've learned how important confidence is, an appropriate confidence. And I think about in the Bible that David, everyone was scared to go fight Goliath. And the reason that David was up for it is because he's like, hey, guess what? When there was a lion who came and messed with the sheep, God strengthened my hand, I killed that lion. When there's a bear who came, God strengthened my hand, I killed that bear.
That's
if he hadn't done those hard activities, he wouldn't have had the confidence to go fight Goliath.
Right.
And so when you go and do those hard things, Ricky's not currently a cattle farmer, but there's been things in his life, I'm sure, that were hard or scary. And he thought, well,
I can do it.
I did this.
I delivered this calf.
Yeah.
I can do this.
That's right.
I can do that's right.
Yeah. I think
And
we
he's-
all learn that way.
Yeah.
You got to go through hard challenges.
Well, and it's so hard for young people, and this gets us off the subject, but we'll get back. We'll talk about foods again. So hard for young people. The jobs that young people used to get at 13, 14, 15, 16, they're hard to find now. I mean, we hire people to do it, like lawn care and things like that. And so I think it's important. That's where a lot of young people learn that stuff. The paper route, it's gone. There is no more paper. You know, because you had to manage money. You had to deliver to certain addresses. You had to get it done by a certain time. You had to figure out how to do it in the rain. You know, all of that kind of stuff. And so I get that we have such a wonderful society where people can do whatever they want to do or not do, you know, but you still need to learn that hard work.
Yeah.
You really do. And not just for boys. Girls need to learn it too.
I'm so glad that I live in 2026. And I mean, life has never been materially easier. And what a blessing.
Yeah.
But we have to fight hard. If I lived in 1905, I'd be working hard to live and heat my home. Well, now I don't have that. So I have to be very intentional
to work
do
hard.
difficult things.
Yes.
And
life is easier.
Yes, it's too easy. And that adds confusion because if my life is so easy, I start to get confused about things that are ridiculous.
It's character. And you can see, you know, the difference in character between someone who has never been pushed to have to do much of anything and someone who has worked hard their whole life to overcome challenges and they believe in themselves and they built that confidence. That person usually has almost a more firm moral standing and an understanding of right and wrong in a way that they can make good decisions and become a good leader like yourself. You know, I don't know. You know, we really want to encourage that in the kids, and I think the programs that you're wanting to do out there are going to really help. Because I used to say, and we might have even said something here, aren't you worried about what our future is going to look like if things keep going the way they're going? You know, if the current status quo with the kids just sitting around playing video games and not a whole lot of effort being made, like what's going to happen to us later when it comes time?
Well, and
for us to
so,
be
you know, I'm on the State Board of Education and there's a lot, you know, we just instituted a cell phone ban and up through 8th grade, and we need to do it through high school, and I hope that we do. But it's funny because, you a lot of studies have now come out, educators love to embrace new ideas. Okay. And so like 20 years ago, they started introducing all these screens in the class, this screen for that and this screen for that. Well, now we know that, they don't help as much as we thought they did. I mean, they're good for certain things. There's spelling games you can do. There's that kind of stuff, but nothing replaces a good face-to-face teacher, and that you get from that human interaction of teaching. And, we're going to have to figure that out because we've done a lot in this space of making kids think that, if I just can learn it on a screen, that's all I need. Well, good hard work.
There's a whole generation. There's generations of people now that they've come up under that situation.
I have a limited, view. I only see certain things, so I could be wrong. I don't know the statistics, but it seems to me that there's a gross discrepancy between, I see working at the farm, these wonderful young women that have their junk together and are getting after it, and suitable male counterparts for them. And that's something that drives me too. I'm like, I want to build up some dadgum man up in here.
Yes, it's true. It's true. There's something happening. But
that's right. I think that's a good thing. Now, a few weeks ago, they literally turned the food pyramid upside down.
Yeah.
And I think Terrell's right that it settled down a little bit initially. It was like, we can't change anything.
Yeah.
I don't understand why, eating bread all day long is not good anymore. No, I'm being sarcastic there. But it got back into more meat and
common sense
and real fat, not this fake fat-free stuff. And fresh vegetables and all the things that are just common sense.
Yeah, it's common sense.
It's just common sense.
Whole foods.
People of all political persuasions, attack their opponents, but it was so interesting with the Maha movement and stuff. I would see these articles that were like, well, are synthetic food dyes even really bad? Or like, well, why is hyper-processed food bad? It's like, of course it is. Everyone can agree on that.
It kind of blinds people to the actual reality of things.
The most shocking thing that came out of that to me was I never in a million years, I knew they used food coloring, okay? But I thought it was like the food coloring I use, for when I dye the eggs. Or the food coloring I use when I make cinnamon rolls with my grandchildren and they get to pick what color the icing is and we mix it in with that. But it was food colorings made out of petroleum products. I'm not a tree hugger. I love oil. I like my car, all that stuff. But to think anybody thought putting a coloring that was made out of petroleum-based products in your food was a good idea?
Oh, there was something I saw.
Sneaky.
It was
they
sneaky.
changed things.
Oh, yeah. Well, there was a dye that they were talking about. It was like, this is so terrible. It's made of crushed insect shells. And I was like, well, that is better than petroleum byproduct.
Yeah, it's very true. Give me a bug. We ate bugs when we were kids. I mean, was it just me? I mean,
were you just a child? I'm just kidding.
But there are, if you look at, on the food pyramid side, there's all these carbs and processed carbohydrates there at the bottom. And a big part of that's because our government subsidized and still does corn production, which then you got to do something with it. And so ethanol, boy, there's nothing good about that for your chainsaw. And or your boat, and then there's all these products that are sweetened and too much carbs from that. Right. And on the same side, things with petroleum, we have to do things with that, which I'm a fan of petroleum too. I think it's amazing.
Yeah,
I love
fuels the world
properly. Yes,
but I don't want it in my food.
No, that's not the appropriate place for it. But yes, these things that like the new food pyramid speaks to, and that. It is true common sense. It really is. Like, I feel so good when I eat meat, eggs from my farm, and I eat plenty of meat, and it has fat on it. It's a healthier fat.
It's yummy. It makes the steak even more tasty.
I cook with lard that I render from pigs. That's pig fat. I rub rendered beef fat on my face every day.
That's all. I did buy some beef tallow products just to check them out. I didn't realize you have some over there.
Yeah.
So do you sell them?
I do.
We can talk about maybe having
and
them
that part of what I do is even legal. Yeah.
Would you like to do that?
Sure.
Might be fun.
Yeah.
We can support your farm.
We'd be honored to be.
Because that's who we are. We're organic, wellness related. That's what we're trying to do. So yes, to all of that.
Okay. And veggies, like who can argue with that, And we sell organic sourdough at the farm. And it's, milled from local wheat of a variety of different kinds. Oh, it is. And that is like, I eat very little. And boy, it's such a great, I tell my son Wes, I was like, I don't need more of a treat than that. You give me some of that sourdough with some of this butter and some local honey.
Air fry that thing. And
you can't beat it.
No, my grandkids, that's their treat.
Because a piece of sourdough bread?
Yes.
I love sourdough
grilled,
bread.
kind of toasted a little bit with the butter and a little bit of honey and or some cinnamon or something really yummy. They love it. That's their treat.
On the food pyramid, I love it because I think it reflects truth.
Right.
That's obviously important. And even if truth is not convenient for me, sometimes it's not.
Right.
I need to embrace truth and change. But it is also great if anyone out there is listening and they want to get into regenerative ag. It is good from a marketing standpoint.
Yeah.
I mean, we have big goals for the farm because we want to have more impact. And I feel like there's every day, there's more people in pre-food pyramid. There's just more people every day who watch a documentary, listen to a podcast.
Yeah,
and
the
they
information's
want what we
out
produce.
there. Yeah.
So go get after it, people.
Well, that's kind of what we're here for. Martha and I are here to educate. We're putting the alliance together, Holistic Healthcare Alliance, Organic Foods. We'll have Andrew from the Northeast Georgia Co-op on here. He's doing the same thing with
I'm picking up my co-op order today.
Are you?
Between
Yes, Wednesday.
5 and 6:30.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
It gets busy over there, too, let me tell you. So, he's got a great thing going. I want to do more at the spa to support the local farmers, and I'm trying to come up with different ways to do it. Having a pickup spot there would be a little too much, but they're getting busier over there. So, getting fresh whole foods right from the grower and the farmer. There's no better way than that.
So there are some businesses popping up about these rejected vegetables. Have you heard about those?
Yeah.
Do we have one of those? Do we have one of those? I don't think so. But that'd be good. Well, because in the grocery store they want everything to look perfect and everything the same size and all this stuff. But they're expensive, and there are these stores where you can buy the ugly fruits and vegetables. And it might do well.
And through locally grown, so Northeast Georgia locally grown, that you're going to have Andrew on here.
Yep.
There are offerings that are discounted, like an ugly squash, I think it's called. So you get it through locally grown.
Yes.
Well, that kind of segues to my other concerns or thoughts about the new food pyramid. We did talk about supply chain issues. How are they actually going to pull this off? Organic foods and safe foods versus the box processed foods are much more expensive. We have a huge population of people who may not be able to afford some of these things. And now things like the ugly fruits, how are we going to make this new and truth, this real lifestyle of how the United States of America is going to start eating? Right?
Yeah.
How do we make that affordable for everyone? That's going to be the key, kind of challenge, I think, to get that going.
I don't think that there are a lot of ways to make the food less expensive, and I don't know if that should be our goal. And here's why, some different thoughts. At first, when I started going on my farm, I was like, I wish my food did not need to be more expensive than the grocery store. And some things were actually not, but many things are.
There's price value too.
Well, yeah. What I realized was my food is not expensive. Nobody is getting rich. I didn't drive here in a Lamborghini. No one's getting rich off regenerative ag.
I feel the same.
It is appropriately priced. And to recognize the things, the industrially raised food or the Cheetos and stuff, that is cheap for a reason. And if we stopped, that could be a government intervention, is to stop directing subsidies. We are paying people to feed people poison. And that is a fact. That's not a conspiracy theory.
No, it's true.
So we could stop doing that to put things on par. And then if we look at and factored in the total cost of what we eat.
Right.
So if you're eating food from a good local farm and look, you're going to be preparing more foods at home, right?
Yep.
Which saves money
'Cause you
by
have
not
to-
eating out.
If you get real produce, that needs to be, and you need to cook it and eat it within a certain period of time. It's not going to sit in your fridge or on your counters for weeks
No.
at a time. So it's definitely a.
I think if we look at the all-in cost of if I am going to eat the standard American diet, I will, unless I get hit by a bus before they kick in, have serious negative health consequences, which will have a serious cost.
This is good.
So just looking at how are we allocating things, as we spend money as a society, think of all that we spend on healthcare. We spend tremendously more than anywhere else with significantly worse outcomes.
Yes. Yeah. There's no good side to it at
There's
this point.
nothing good about it. So how do we allocate those funds to stop them
Redirect.
from the medication and things to real whole foods? And perhaps we incentivize people. Perhaps like, hey, I know that the food pyramid will drive like what you can purchase with WIC.
Yep.
I'm glad we have some social safety nets to help people that just can't afford. You're a single, hardworking mom. You got 3 kids. You just really need some help.
Right.
Oh, great.
Right.
Let's help you. And hey, you can't buy Pepsi and Cheetos.
Thank you.
We've
We've talked about
because
that.
we love you. We're here to help you.
Yeah.
And perhaps we have some things in place where, hey, in order to get these things, you have to do certain things.
Thank you.
Okay,
Yes,
well, look,
agreed.
we're de facto paying all your health care. You're getting this and that. Perhaps you have to be on a plan where you're 50 pounds overweight. Let's see you ticking that down. Let's see you taking some walks.
Because it's going to cost everybody money when people are sick and unwell.
It already does.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm also a very private business fan. I mean, it costs, all this has such
Huge.
wide-ranging societal costs. Like, people are less productive. If you're 100 pounds overweight, your body's so inflamed, you feel terrible. That's awful. And I hate it for you. I'm not saying you're bad and evil and you're just lazy. I'm not saying that. You're surrounded by poison that's made to make you grossly obese.
Oh, there was a
and
plan
medicated
at a certain point behind some of that direction.
And I don't think it was so much they wanted you to be fat from it. That was the consequence.
They did.
But
That's
I
the
think they
consequence.
wanted you to
make
be,
them-
no, they wanted you to be hooked on it.
Right.
Right.
Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
So
it's
it's
more
like,
of
so when
an
I
addiction.
use ClickList for Kroger, I love that because I save money because
Impulse purchases.
no impulse purchases.
Yeah.
You shop from a list, you give them the list, they fill the list up, and it works out great. But it's funny because, you've got all this stuff in there and they sell the chips now, which is so funny because I don't buy as many chips unless I got a whole crowd of people coming over and I'll buy them because, grandkids, I'm going to give them something bad every now and then. I'm sorry, I will. But they're very active kids. But like you buy a bag of Doritos, I would buy a bag of Doritos. The bag of Doritos is $8. If you buy 4, you get it for $5.70 or something like that.
They're
and so they want you to buy 4 because you get hooked on them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and I think you're so right. Nobody set out and said, we want to make people fat. It's we want to make people hooked. And unfortunately, the things we get hooked on are the things that are rare in nature.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, okay, if I lived almost all of human existence, sugars were rare. In this climate, I'm going to have some blueberries and blackberries for a couple weeks of the year.
Yep. The cold.
Every once in a while, I find some honey. Cool. Like, sugar's just not that available, and it's a lot of energy, and I'd need calories to live. So, wow, I have a desire for that.
But when it's available 24/7 all the time, and American shoppers expect that. Let's be, my mom used to talk about how at Christmas they would get an orange and a peppermint stick because the oranges were only available in the winter. In December, I think was when they normally came in. Maybe because they were harvested in October, November, and then they came in, and that was like a big deal. And I buy oranges every week.
I still
my
put
husband loves oranges.
in
I
my
buy
kids' stockings. They expect one of those Tangelos in their stockings because it was in my stocking.
Yes.
It was in my mother's stocking. My grandmother.
Yeah,
stocking.
because
You put the fruit, and then
it was expensive.
Yeah.
and rare.
This is another very important point that is a societal transition if we want people to eat healthier, more naturally. is that some seasonality must be embraced.
Right.
Yes.
I could eat beef all year, which is natural. I could go hunt a deer in December, or I could go, but if you're going to go with all natural and it's going to have to be more local to be sustainable, you just can't have tomatoes all year long. That's the thing,
Yeah.
So, and that's it. I love tomatoes all year long. But hey, we can can things. We can have salsa and marinara sauce.
Yep.
But there are limitations if we're working within
That's a
nature.
neat challenge. Eat seasonally.
Eat seasonally.
Look to see what that is, and then just challenge yourself to eat seasonally.
So we
How
travel
fun.
a lot in the summer now, which is just a blessing. So we don't have a garden anymore because it would always come in when we were gone and it couldn't do it. But for years, we had a garden. And, I asked Lynn for just a few tomato plants, and we've got this 20 by 40 garden that he did for years and years for us with tomatoes and squash and we still get asparagus. We do still get asparagus because that comes up once a year and all that stuff. But, it's wonderful when you grow your own vegetables and more people ought to do it.
Yeah.
And
you can do a porch,
yeah,
raised garden bed. There's a million things you can do. People are
good
doing
exercise.
it. Yeah.
It's family fun.
family fun. That's right.
And of course, listen, of course, if your children are eating gummy bears all the time, they're going to protest against the carrot sticks and the eggs. If they are on a screen all the time, gardening cannot initially compare with that onslaught. But be bold and brave
Consistent.
and love your kids and get them out there doing that. Yeah, they're going to complain about it. Yeah, they're going to be like, there's bugs and it's hot. I don't want to. Have them do it.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Yep.
So
do
tell folks again how they can
Ah,
find out about your farm.
Thank you.
Yes.
I would love it if you followed us on Instagram or Facebook, Hopewell Farms GA. On Instagram, I think it's just at Hopewell Farms GA. And go to our website, which is hopewellfarmsga.com. You can sign up for our emails there, which are not salesy. Every Friday,
they're
we
great.
send out a fun farm email. They are fun. But Instagram, Facebook, and then if you go on our website, you can sign up for our free farm tours, which will occur monthly starting in March. And they are a lot of fun. I mean,
And you have your
people
shop
out
there too. They can shop online
Honor
too,
System
right?
Farm Store 24/7.
Yeah.
People do not believe me. They don't.
It's
understand.
great. It's a big, can I just brag on you?
Please
it's a
do.
big, beautiful farmhouse with the coolers just sitting around with big, huge chalkboards that tell you what the prices are. So you just open it up, pull out what you want, go over, Venmo, cash, or check,
Yeah.
and Bob's your uncle.
You do
go
at 3
home.
in the morning. You want eggs at 3 in the morning.
Yeah,
you
it's
just
wide open.
come on over.
Come on over. So we could talk forever
Yes.
to Phil, and we'll have to have him back on.
We will.
We're so thankful for people like Phil who just have an infectious way of sharing what he's doing and the great ideas. Are you having to pay Chick-fil-A for that term?
No,
I don't know.
just
They
don't.
haven't found it. Just go with it.
I just took it.
So, but again, like and subscribe on YouTube, and we'll have lots of folks like Phil on over the next weeks.
And so, as everybody knows, Martha and I love doing what we're doing. We're loving to have these conversations. We learn along with the viewership and the listenership to these podcasts. We're learning along the way. So thank you very much. And Martha and I, as usually, we know that your wellness deserves a little oversharing.